I try to stay upbeat and positive in these videos, but I came across a story, a news story that's true. Gotta make a video on it. Oskaloosa in the Midwest, Iowa State. They have this situation that is absolutely atrocious going on that should have the rest of the nation in an uproar because when these things happen in places most people haven't heard of and they work and go through, it sets a precedence. And then in future situations that are similar, that precedence gets referred to. And especially if there's a court case, well, in such and such versus such and such, it was decided that this. So with that precedence in mind, blah, blah, blah. There's an airport on one side of this town, good sized. Airport on the other side, not so good sized, but they can handle the larger stuff. They just have to every year renew this one permit, which they've never once had trouble doing in years. The surrounding companies, all but one, have said, we're totally cool with the two airports we've got. We don't need a new one. That one wants an airport within 24 minutes of this town, or 24 miles. I don't know, closer than the other two, which it ends up being about the same distance. I don't know. It was stupid. It's just, God. Anyway, it goes up for vote because they're like, we're going to need these guys' land, and we'll give them what we think the land's worth, which happens to be way less than surrounding land is going for that's comparable. And one of them's a farm that's been in this family for over 100 years. Well, so it comes up for vote. Unanimous no from the citizens of this town. So then a council is put together to decide whether or not it'll be done. And two of the members of the council are from that company. So they have a conflict of interest. And the council unanimously decides, yes, the airport's going to happen. We're going to use taxpayer dollars. The taxpayer dollars of those people that voted no. Taxation without representation. Because their representatives are ignoring them. So they pull these companies again that are all going to be using the airport. And they're like, well, if the people don't want it, and it's taking people's land that don't want to sell, we don't want anything to do with it. All but one of those companies. The one with the two council members on that special panel. And they were all for it until they saw they were starting to get some bad PR, and they're like, oh, well, we certainly wouldn't want it either. Yet their two members on the council were still going for it. This town recently had an election for a mayor. 5 candidates. 4 involved with that company, receiving campaign funds from that company. Now, I didn't pay attention yet or find out to who won. But the thing here is, they're using manifest destiny, by the way, is what they called it. You've got people's land being taken from them that don't want to sell, being given far less than it's worth, not taking into consideration the properties they have built on the land, or the money they would make from the land, or the value it has to these people's hearts and their families, that they were going to pass it on. You've got people that are elected to represent the citizens, ignoring their votes, taking their taxes, using it for something they voted against. Do we really want this sort of thing going through and setting a standard for the rest of the nation? More importantly, this is just one drop in the bucket. If you know of other situations like this anywhere within the United States, leave a comment, especially if you know some keywords to help us research these things. This is pretty bad. A lot of what this country was built on is the opposite of what's going on in this situation. Well, leave your thoughts, comments, similar stories you know of.